them.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. My name is Sarah Black Charm, and I am the chef and the owner of HealthEat. And together with our awesome Judy, nutritionist, we build food plans for people according to what they need and what they want, and we send them food on a regular basis. And we are honored to host our friend Chana Pappenheim here today. And we're going to have a discussion about going back to school in the healthiest way possible for our kids, families, and of course ourselves. So, hi, Chana.
Hi. It's really an honor for me to be here today. It was lovely to get to know you, and I'm happy to get to know you and your customers and your friends, and to get to know more people. It's always very exciting. And I must admit that I am excited to be here and to be speaking. Where should we start?
Why don't you tell us who you are and what you do, please?
Okay. So as you said, my name is Chana Pappenheim. I'm originally from England, London. I live here already 31 years, but my accent in Hebrew still gives me away every day. And the funny thing is that because I mostly my customers are Hebrew speaking, so I'm used to speaking my speech in Hebrew. So I might, be lost for words sometimes. So please forgive me. So how I got to I'm a health coach and connector. And that means I help people to learn healthy eating habits, nutrition habits, and absorb them in their daily routine. And through that, I realized that it's not just enough to give people the technical issues, to teach them the technical, which is a lot, because many times after they learn the rules and all the technical things, they come across the deeper blocks, the emotional blocks, the mental blocks. And then I found that I didn't have really tools to help them. So I went to learn coaching, which is a connecting. My mentor is Ilanit Ben Aksas, and she opened a course to become a connector, which means I connect people to their strengths, to their inner selves, to their intuitions. And in that way, I help them to release the blockages in all parts, in all issues, not just nutrition and not just health. So it started from that, and it's also much more than that. So I'm already 3.5 years. I got to it from my own personal experience.
We'd love to hear about it.
Yeah. So I'm 51. I'm a mother, grandmother. I live in Bet Shemesh, and after 25 years of yo-yo dieting, I ended up being extremely obese and with borderline diabetes. And since I had diabetes in the last pregnancy, I knew that that's something that I'm not interested to live with on a daily basis. So I explored my opportunities, and the best thing what was advised at that point was to do surgery. So I did bariatric surgery, a mini bypass, and it was all very nice, and I lost weight, and it was fantastic. But they say it's like a honeymoon. After half a year, the honeymoon is over, and the hunger hormones wake up, and then I found myself back into the same habits of snacking all day and eating rubbish, as we say in England. And I said, if I did it for my health, then what's the point of, that's not going to get me healthy in any way. So I went on a masa. I went on a journey to learn exactly really what means eating, not just dieting and then going backwards and forwards, really to learn how to eat healthy. And once I learned that, I realized it's so much simpler than I thought it was. I said, I'm not saying why did I have to suffer? Okay, that was my journey. But I'm now in a position to help other people to learn it the easy way, not have to go through it the hard way. So I found that is my passion. And the last 3.5 years, I've been helping people doing it. And as I said before, On the way, I learned so many more things, and I included more tools in my toolbox. And that's what I do today. I help people live a healthier life easily. B'klilut, I call myself. I have a keilah, which I call briut b'klilut. You know, an easier way. You know, life is easy. Why do we have to make it difficult?
Right. Well, we have our challenges, but we don't need to add more.
Right.
Right. So what we are going to be talking about today is something that is very, very close to my heart, as I have young children. And this, I don't know why they call it a vacation, because it's not. And I said that going to September 1st, it's like, it's going to happen. We just can't wait. So I'm going to come from the mother perspective and ask you, as much as we plan, everybody going back to school, my son is going into first grade, and we planned everything. We bought his uniform, we bought everything he needs for school. He has his meeting next week, and we're all excited, but I don't think we really planned how to eat, how to, you know, make his breakfast, serve him breakfast, send him his snack for school, and how to take care of ourselves also, which is the next topic. But could you help us with a little bit of planning strategies?
Yeah. So one of my big anchors, we call it, is in integrating healthy habits is planning. I mean, for whatever goals we have, the key to reaching our goals is planning our journey to reach them. So if we're in vacation, though you say it's not a vacation, it's the lifestyle is like more relaxed, and whenever we get up, whenever we get round to it, we'll somehow just the meals will appear somehow. Either they will or they won't. You have the business, the food business. So for you, it's more on the spot. But other people who are not so much into cooking, so it's just like mericha, it's just spreading the day along. But when it comes to getting back into routine, a school routine, work routine, we need a routine. We need a plan in order for it to run smoothly. So what I say is it starts from the macro, and then we go to the micro. I start planning monthly plans. Now we look at the month that's coming ahead, and we say, okay, are there chagim? Are there special days? Are there holidays? Vacations or anything? And then accordingly we plan. So if it's a regular month without any holidays or anything, okay, so that means if everybody has their timetable, are the children at home for lunch or not? Are you home for lunch? Or is your lunch, your main meal in lunch or supper? And accordingly we plan. If it's if you're, it also depends on your dietary preferences. If you're vegetarian, if you're vegan, if you're regular, if you're more into eating more vegetarian lifestyle, even if you're not officially vegetarian. So it's okay, how many meat meals a week you're going to have? Chicken, fish, legumes. And then, okay, so then once you have the main plan of more or less the things, how many snacks you're giving if your children are eating out or in school or not. And then we make a macro plan. That means you can make a weekly routine. Some people find it better for them to have a weekly routine. They know every Sunday is this meal, every Monday this meal. Some people like to be more freestyle. And so I say, okay, so make a bi-weekly plan. And then it doesn't have to be every Sunday or Monday, but it can be Sunday, Wednesday, or Monday, Thursday. The general idea of what your children like and what you like. And then once okay, so if it's chicken patties, if it's schnitzel, if it's mincemeat, if it's fish or some, families, fish is absolutely taboo. So, more or less your preferences. You plan accordingly. Okay, so I need this and this amount of meat, this and this amount of fish, this and this amount of thing. And then you make a monthly shopping plan, a monthly shopping list. And then, of course, once you have a monthly shopping list, your freezer's full, your pantry's stocked, then you go down to the weekly, because, fresh produce, you can't buy a month in advance. So then you're going to make a weekly plan for the vegetables, the fruit and vegetables, that you should have it in the house. If you want it fresh for Shabbat, then okay, so you do your shopping on Wednesday so that you have everything in the house, and then Thursday you can do your cooking, or whatever suits you, but you have a plan and you fit it into your routine. If you don't have time to do shopping, okay, so do online shopping. But if you have a plan, then everything runs so much smoothly. And then once you have your shopping plan and your thing in the house, then you have your meal plan and your shopping plan, then the next thing is the cooking plan. So if you're not into cooking at all, then you go to Sarah and you order food. But if you're not into that and you want to save money and you want to save time, then people often say to me, I can't live a healthy lifestyle, because healthy lifestyle means all day long be in the kitchen, and I don't have time to be all day long in the kitchen. And I say, oh, that's a real myth, because on the contrary, as once I got into the hang of it, I'm less in the kitchen than I used to be.
Right.
I make cooking days. I cook titot. I cook schnitzels. I do all sorts of things. Chickpeas, for example. Chickpeas is a wonderful snack for kids, for adults. And soups. Now we're coming into winter soon. I eat soup in the summer also, but for many people, soup is just a winter thing. And you do it in bulk, and then you freeze, and then you have it.
Right.
No need every day to be in the kitchen.
Right. So in the culinary world, you call it mise en place, which means preparation,
right,
in advance. And what we do in our professional kitchen, which is a big learning. It taught me, but it helps a lot, because we build food plans. We have our menus already done by Wednesday for the following week, and it just helps not only for our clients to know what they want to eat, what they will be eating the following week. It helps us have all the staff know what they need, the shopping list. And of course, once, even if we make schnitzels, okay, but we don't need all of it for one meal. I'm talking about the family meal. You coat it, you freeze it raw, and then you just pull it out, put it in the oven, or, for families who fry it, you could fry it. But that is extremely helpful. And of course, we're happy to share tips. And if you want to ask us questions on the chat, we will address them later, but we will see everything. Okay, let's talk about our kids when they come home from school and they are starving. Or they wake up in the morning and instead of eating breakfast, they play, and then they are starving a minute before they have to leave. How do you suggest doing that?
Okay, so once again, it's into planning. If you know when your kids, let's talk about first them coming home. If you know your kids' timetables, their routines, when they're coming home, preempt their arrival. Have the snack ready for them before they manage to say they're hungry. Before they manage to think it's, hi, here's a cup of water, cold water or soda, or when I call soda is what you call Americans call seltzer. I don't in any way encourage a sweet drink. It's if it's a cup of water or seltzer or something to cool them down, And then the table is ready already with the snack. It's fruit, it could be chickpeas, or according to your child's preferences. If you're ready with a nutritious snack, it will satisfy them. Because, you know, many times people think, okay, they're starving, I'll just give them a quick snack. And it's so much easier to pull a snack, a bamba or some empty rubbish, because, you know, it'll stop them up before supper. But what we're doing is really counterproductive, because when we give kids empty snacks, empty of nutrition, then first of all, we're not satisfying their hunger, because the body is hungry for nutrition, not for sugar or empty fat. It's like I compare it to a car. You know, a car has 3 lamps. You know, it has a lamp for gas, for oil, for water. And if we're driving on the highway and suddenly the gas light starts blinking, and we say, okay, I don't have a gas station now, so I'll just stop on the side and I'll give it water or oil. Is it going to stop blinking, the gas?
Not really.
Unlikely, because you didn't give it what it needed. So we don't have 3 lights. But we have, first of all, we have more than 3 needs. You know, our body needs all sorts of things. You know, the avot mazon, the main, what do we call them in
Pyramid.
what?
The pyramid one.
Yeah, the food groups, right? So we need proteins, and we need healthy carbs, and we need healthy fats, and we need vitamins, and if we're just gonna give it, if let's say the body needs protein and we're giving it carbs, and empty carbs, which is not even carbs, I wouldn't even call it the real carb, then it's going to carry on blinking and saying, oh no, you didn't give me what you wanted. You didn't give me what I wanted. You didn't give me what I need. And that's the everlasting hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, which we all like get nervous to hear. So it's not going to really help if we give them an empty, something that they don't need. So our body only has 2 lights, hunger and thirst. So we think that we're giving it something to quench, to satiate us, to satisfy us, but it's not really satisfying. So if we preempt their arrival with healthy options, then we're doing them a double service. First of all, we're giving them nutrition, and secondly, when we don't give them nutrition, we're giving them, we're actually compounding the problem, because sugar creates sugar highs, and then they go lows, and then they get even more hyperactive, and they're just getting more and more out of control. So not only we're not giving them what they need, we're giving them what they don't need, which causes even more problems.
So in our previous event, which was last week, we talked about healthy snacks, and we were talking about kids also, and we were talking about ideas for snacks. And in order to satisfy our children, I would think, when they come home, especially when they come home from school or gone or whatever it is, we all know as parents what their favorite fruit is, or vegetable, or even a cracker, just you know, to calm them down a little bit. And I would, you know, just of course greet them and say, wow, I have your favorite, I don't know, fruit, a nectarine, or a pepper. Kids love peppers. And then just sit them down. It's part of them coming home, being greeted, and to see that someone is happy to see them come home. And I think that does a lot of good. So thank you for that. I also wanted to ask you, as you do speak with women mostly, and we as women, we do a lot. We do a lot for our families, for our businesses, for our husbands, or spouses rather. What would you suggest? And it's not, you know, a dirty word. We have to take care of ourselves, and we have to not only take care of ourselves, but love ourselves. What are your tips? Because I'm sure that is a big part of what you do as a
Right.
connector. Yeah.
Right. One of the main issues that I come across is women putting themselves the end of the list, which changes the whole dynamic. The moment a woman puts herself at the top of the list, and she understands that in order to nurture her family, she needs to nurture herself first, then it changes the whole dynamic. I love to use the analogy of when we're on the plane, and if the oxygen drops, the instruction is always, if the oxygen masks will drop. If you're traveling with children, first put on your own and then help your children, which is counterintuitive to many people. Wow, I have to first save my child. Yes, but if you don't save yourself, there won't be who to save your child. So, there's all the story of the mom who locked herself in a room to eat the egg, and the kids were banging the door down and said, "I'm making you a mother." Because if we don't nurture ourselves, there isn't who to nurture our kids. And not only are we not nurturing ourselves, we're setting the example that we're not important, that others are more important than us. And the basic, when Shammai, when the non-Jew came to Shammai and asked him, what is the Torah on one leg? What did he say? We have to, what is v'ahavta kamocha? Love your friend as you love yourself. So if I don't love myself, how can I love my friend? Right. I'm sure Inbal will be happy to hear me talking about v'ahavta, because that's her mantra.
Yeah.
So yeah, v'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. If you want to love other people, first love yourself. What does self-love mean? Nurturing yourself, giving yourself what you need before you give yourself. So a great tip is to get up before the kids. To get up before the kids and have your time for yourself. If some people don't need to eat straight when they wake up. Okay, so they need the time, they need the drink, if it's a coffee, if it's water, if whatever it is, if it's to do meditation, if it's to daven, if it's to pray, whatever it is that gives you your oxygen in the morning, and then you're a better mother for your kids. You're a better mother to wake them up, or if they wake you up, then somehow work it out that you can have your time so that you can be the best mother you can be and put yourself on top of the list. A very good thing is learning to actually eat with your children, to synchronate your meal times to their meal times, so that when they come in from school, it can be your mid-meal snack also. And you sit down with them, if it's a snack, if it's a supper, if it's breakfast, it changes the whole dynamic also. It shows them that that meal times is important, and that you're worrying for yourself and you're caring for yourself. And they do, all the kids know what mom likes best. And when they see mom doing the right thing, then they'll want to do the right thing.
Right. So that brings us to the family meals, and just as well as the planning, by the way, because if we plan a menu and we write it on a chart and we talk to the kids and talk to the family, what's your favorite food? Let's put it in, and let's give importance to every single member of the family. And this is something that Judy talks about a lot also, the importance of family meals, not only on Shabbat. That's why I love Shabbat, by the way, because it's just, it's so special in terms of the togetherness. But Shabbat comes once a week and we eat every day, a few times a day. So just planning it and having everyone as an active part of the meals, setting the table, planning and building the menus, maybe even shopping together, which we'll talk about soon. But I would like to ask you about if you could enlighten us with the importance of that. Okay, please.
Yes, thank you. So one of the main one of a lot of the issues that I come across a lot is the issue of mindless eating as opposed to mindfulness eating. When we're eating on the go, toch kedei, while doing other things, while working, while we're standing, we're making the kids meals, and we just take a spoon of this and a spoon of that. First of all, we're setting the example for the children that that's the way to eat, which is so not correct, because the minute when we eat mindlessly, our body doesn't really absorb it properly. Our mind doesn't absorb that we've eaten, and it doesn't absorb that we actually have eaten and we need to be satisfied. It goes off kilter. So when we sit together with the children and we eat, we're setting an example, and we're doing it for ourselves and for the family. So besides the care for being together and the feeling that we're important to them and they're important to us, and we can get to speak about the day, it's also the actual eating is a avodah, is service. We when we sit properly, we're mindfully eating. We can also take notice if it's important for us to train them in the brachot, then we're an example. We're just an example. We make the brachot together, and afterwards we can make the bracha achrona together, and it's so much more elevating than just everyone just taking a plate and sitting around lounging in their rooms.
Right.
That is a real big biggie, which I really encourage.
Yeah. And, with the brachot, I always cherish that. And I always teach my kids also, and it's a good habit to be thankful for what you have, right, and learn how to say thank you before and after, and appreciate what we have. So,
right. And the body absorbs it better. When we're sitting calmly and we're eating calmly and mindfully, our body absorbs the nutrients, literally.
Yeah.
So we get so many benefits from it. Yeah,
absolutely. I did it last night. We sat down for a family dinner, and it was amazing. It was just nice. And we put away our phones and our computers, and it just flowed. So highly recommended. So let's talk about shopping a little bit and mindfulness.
So if we go back to what we spoke at the beginning, if we have our monthly plan, a monthly shopping list, a fixed shopping list, you can do it on your notes or whatever app you have. And then when we go shopping, we go with our list. So it may seem quaint to go shopping with a shopping list, but it really makes the whole difference between impulsive shopping or mindful shopping. When we have our list and we know what we want and we know what we need, it just looks completely different. We get what we need. We don't get what we don't need. We save time. So we're going round and round and round in the aisles. We know what we want and we just go for it. We save time. And if we're going with the kids, then it's also more, when we're decisive, we know what we want. So it's less of, okay, should we have this? Should we have that? No, but I want this, I want that, I want the other. We know, yeah. And for the kids, we have a list and we're going. Maybe you can choose one thing. We can say in Rosh, today I'm giving you the opportunity to choose one thing. You can choose from this aisle or from that aisle. Or you can choose a special fruit that we don't usually have. It saves us time, it saves us money, of course, and it saves us, wasting our resources.
Yeah, wow, amazing. I remember when they first opened Osher Ad, and they wrote their tips on their walls. And the biggest tip that stood out for me was never go shopping hungry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
Definitely.
that is very helpful. Just have a healthy snack before you go. Have your shopping list and you're good to go. Literally.
And if you're going shopping, if you're doing shopping within a daily, some people have sidurim bachot, like they call it, and they do all sorts of sidurim, and then they come shopping, so they're not coming from home. Then have your snack with you.
Right.
Have your snack with you. Don't rely on buying a snack.
Right. So the last subject, which is a biggie, that we're going to talk about today is dairy products. And I know that in our kitchen, we do have a dairy kitchen. We barely use it. Not because of an intolerance, it's just not as healthy. And I would love to hear from you. What is good to avoid and how you approach it, especially with children who love dairy products.
Right. So I myself, I can say that only 2 years ago, I discovered what it's like to live without dairy. An output, when at first when I started, it was okay. The best of the worst is, yogurt and cottage cheese. That's what I was taught, that is, those are okay. Milk and the other stuff is less advisable. But then I learned more and more. As I learned more and more, I realized that it's such a myth. The whole dairy industry is a myth that we've been taught over and over again. We need dairy for our calcium, and dairy is healthy and we can't live without it. And I suggest whoever wants to understand it, it's not something that we can deal with in this live. Just go online and find out about it. But one of the things I want to say, which blew me away, is that the body, in order to digest the dairy, exerts more effort and excretes the calcium more than what it takes in. That means we're getting into a calcium deficit when we eat dairy products. I'm not talking about the bandanim and all that stuff, which is, I wouldn't even call it a dairy product. It's called it should be in the sweets, because that's what it is.
Yeah, it's processed sugar.
It's absolutely there's hardly even any milk in it. Just a bunch of sugar and emulsifiers and all sorts of things, which afterwards the body has to work doubly hard to get rid of. So we're really not doing anybody any favors with giving them this stuff. And even the healthy, the cheese and not sweetened, those also, I would suggest this. I wouldn't say, I'm not saying you should one day from tomorrow never eat any more dairy, because everything is a process, and everything is life is a process, and we don't change from 1 minute to the next. And it is a collection of decisions that we make, right? So if we're not going to say one day, tomorrow I'm going to eat healthy and I'm going to do everything, because we can't. But we can do one thing at a time. So if it's with me, it was okay. I knew if I want to do this program that I was putting into my, starting to use with my clients, it's either this or dairy. It doesn't go together. So if anybody will want to hear more about it, you're welcome to discuss it later. It's a global program called Slenderize, and it does not go with dairy products. So I had to make the decision one day, no more dairy. And it took me a while to actually do it. But when I did it, I saw that I managed to live quite healthily and wonderfully without it.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you though, how about the bio, the yogurts?
So that's what they say is the best, is the lesser evil. The next thing evil is the yogurts, the plain yogurts, right? The natural yogurts.
Right.
That is considered okay. But I manage without it also.
So how do you get your nutrients?
Which nutrients? The calcium?
Yeah.
So the calcium is in leafy vegetables. It's in tahina, sesame. It's in almonds. Yeah, it's there.
Amazing. How do we find you, Chana?
How do we find me? So I have a community on Facebook, Briut Beklilut in Chana Pappenheim. I'll put it afterwards. I'm not so good at doing things bozmanit, like they say, but I'll put it afterwards on the group, the link. And it's in Hebrew. As I said, most of my kahal is Hebrew speaking. And you can always contact me by phone, by WhatsApp, 050 30 739. And I'll be happy to speak and to offer my services to anybody who wants them.
It sounds amazing. And I think we got a few questions. Is there?
Okay, let's see.
Let's open up for questions.
Right.
I
have questions.
Yeah.
From the crowd, from the live on Facebook. As a mother, you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. As a mother to two young, very picky children, and they love dairy products, how do you suggest I slowly get them off it or right away? Are dairy products addictive like sugar and wheat? How do you suggest subsidizing for the dairy products?
So part of the answer part of the question we answered about how we substitute the dairy. So it's leafy vegetables, it's tahina, you can make your own sumsum with tahina and maple pure maple syrup. It's like I do it at home, and that's a great for people who are not allergic or sensitive. And about the if you do it in one day or not, I also said it has to. Children, to force things on children doesn't work. We can show them an example. We can give them substitutes, and then wean them off slowly from it. One of the things that I like to do is chia pudding that I make from you can use soya milk or almond, obviously without sugar. I use the Alpro, and I mix it a pudding with chia. You can add cocoa to make it a chocolate pudding, and slowly you can make shakes, popsicles. I made actually this Shabbat a lovely chocolate arctic from coconut cream, cocoa, peanut butter, and dates. It was delicious. I had my grandkids here, and everybody just loved it. So
smoothie, especially since it's so hot. Yeah.
Smoothie. I actually froze them in a like a magnum, like a mini magnum.
Yeah. Wow.
So right, Judy says whole trina, right, definitely whole sesame. Yes, I use the whole sesame to get the nutrients, right. And that's what I suggest.
Okay. Is there another question? Thank you, Judy, for your
Input.
yes.
There are more questions, yes. How do I make, someone asked, how do I make nutritious and tasty snacks for school, and how do I make it as easy as possible?
Okay, Sarah, you go on that.
Okay. Could you write it down on the chat, please?
You asking me?
Yes, please.
It's on the Facebook group. You want me to ask again?
Yes, please.
How do I make nutritious and tasty snacks for school, and how do I make it as easy as possible?
Oh, sorry, put it on.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Sarit. Okay. Nutritious and tasty snacks. Well, first of all, I would go to the most seasonal fruit that are very big in Israel. We only get what is in season. And I would just cut it up or even freeze it. Not with a yogurt, but with almond milk in these little silicone trays. Put berries in there, which are all over now, and like some kiwi, and then they just pop it in. It melts in a second. It's like a frozen muesli. That's really what it is. It's a no-brainer. It really is, and kids love it.
You make it into a smoothie, or you just cut
I put a little bit of milk with like some almond butter just to thicken it up a little bit. I'll mix it in, and I'll add berries, even frozen strawberries, which are easier to find, mango, which is in season, and a few like walnuts or nuts. Pop it in the freezer for about an hour, and then it's just it melts in a few minutes, and you could have it with a spoon, and it goes out. It stays well kept outside, and it's a great snack. Smoothies are also great because you make a bunch, freeze it, take it out an hour before you're ready to consume it. It's a whole meal. Judy and I talk about it a lot, of the benefits of it, and also just, vegetable sticks, cucumber, pepper, not tomato, that gets a little bit messier, but even the tiras gamadi, the baby corn, which kids love, and a little drizzle of trina on the side. Amazing snack and nutritious.
My little boy's into alfalfa sprouts.
Wow.
Yeah. He said, I said, I encourage him to try out. And, he learned, as one by one, he gets into the vegetables. And I said, try this. And he dared to try it. And he said, you know what? Doesn't really taste of anything, so I might as well eat it.
How old is he?
7.
Oh, wow. Okay, nice.
Yeah. And he makes himself his own plates. He makes himself his own vegetable plates for supper. He loves it, cutting up his vegetables. And he makes it. I help him make his own egg. Obviously, I open the egg, and I'm supervising him. But he loves doing it. Then he enjoys the plate that he prepared himself.
Yeah, that's amazing. Judy's asking about popcorn. What do you say about popcorn?
Well, it is I personally don't really eat corn, but it's definitely better than the processed snacks. Yeah, it's more nutritious, definitely.
What do you do with kids who's allergic to peanuts instead of peanut butter?
Almond butter, if they're not allergic to almonds as well.
And there's another question. Do you have lunch boxes for school, Sarah?
Do we have lunch boxes for school? We send lunches to schools. Lunch boxes are a little less popular. But we could definitely talk about it.
Okay.
Okay.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Inbal, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I would say we will put our information on this live. We will post it on YouTube. And thank you so much. And Shana Tova.
Right. Thank you so much. It was
Shana Tova. Thank you
lovely.
both so much.
Thank you, Inbal. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank everyone for coming. Have a
Yeah,
great day.
I really enjoyed it, and it was lovely to get to know you. And
Yes.
Shana Tova.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Shana Tova. Bye.
Bye.